Hello everybody, I'm Richard Gon of Back to the podcast version, and so this time there's a noise of construction anyway, but enjoying that noise of construction. Please enjoy my podcast. So for this episode, so this time what I'd like to talk about, was the title of this episode is Destructions sometimes give birth to creations. I'm going to tell you again. So destructions sometimes give birth to creations. So sometimes people say this destruction or destructions are a mother of good creations, or vice versa can be can be established anyway. So, but some people say, often say, destructions is a mother of creations. And this time I named it. I'm not I named it. Anyway, I named this episode. Destructions sometimes give birth to not constructions but creations. So I think you know that. So not all destructions give birth to creations. So if such a thing is true, so so there must be many destructions, which is why so there must be a lot of creations accompanied by destructions anyway. So such a thing is not. So such what I said, or what is written on the title of this episode is not 100% correct. So not 100% correct. So what I want you what I want you to know this time is that. So let me tell you the conclusion of this episode. So the conclusion is, if an era of wars comes, there may be an improvement in the low birth rates of some countries. So I'm going to tell you the conclusion again. So the conclusion is, if an era of wars comes, there may be an improvement in the low birth rates of some countries. So to start with, as I told you, or as I was trying to tell you that, so I said that the title is destructions sometimes give pass to give pass to creations, but actually, so destructions does not always give pass to creations, which is true because there must be some destructions which do not give birth to creations. Well, there must be some destructions which go which doesn't go which re, which gi- which result in vain, or which result in your waste. So which means so there must be some destructions which give birth to nothing. So anyway, what I'd like to, so but this time so there's a not the, yeah there's a war between there's a war taking place between Russia and Ukraine, and I'm sorry for my bad skill of speaking English language, and please forgive this one, because so to start with, what I'm speaking now is a non-native language for me, which is why so it's really tough for me to speak English smoothly. So which is why to start with, my mother tongue is a East Asian language, which is really different from Western European languages. So which is why it's really tough for me to speak out English language with correct pronunciations. Anyway, so which is why so speaking out British English is kind of not speaking out British English is not it's not my dream, but actually it's impossible for me to speak out British English, because I have been to Great Britain, but actually so but actually I have been to Great Britain as a trip, as a travel or as a trip, but actually I have so it's really difficult really difficult to for many people to acquire foreign languages to start with. So so now I live in an East Asian country, which is why it's impossible for me to acquire British English, because there's no there may be some British people around, but actually, for, as long but thinking was the vicinity of my residence. There are few or there are no British people anyway. So I'm in such a situation. And coming back to the original title of this episode, so I have taken some minutes for I have taken some minutes for talking about extraneous stuff, which is why maybe I should finish this episode concisely. So, and why I created this episode is because, so as I have mentioned minutes before, so there was a war taking place between Russia and Ukraine, and there's a news that some Ukrainian civilians are killed by Russian troopers, but by listening to or by knowing that thing, by knowing which, so what I thought was that, so to start with, or in the first place, or at the beginning of the war, or even before the beginning of the war between Ukraine and Russia, so Ukrainian civilian people, or almost all the Ukrainian people have taken some military trainings, which is why even those killed Ukrainian civilians could have used, or could have got some skills for using guns or using weapons against Russian troopers or Russian soldiers, which is why, so putting yourselves into the shoes of Russian soldiers, and putting even myself into the shoes of Russian soldiers, or if I were a Russian trooper, I think I would have killed Ukrainian civilians, or I would have killed Ukrainian people who are not the soldiers of Ukraine. That is because, or that would be because, anyway, that is because even in the case of Ukrainian people, if in the case of Ukrainian people, although some people although some people are not Ukrainian soldiers, some Ukrainian people can use guns and other weapons, which is why, so even when those Ukrainian civilians are captured or confined into some place in Ukrainian soil. So those captives or those Ukrainian people who are under confinement can deprive of some weapons of Russian soldiers, and those Ukrainian civilians may fight back against Russian soldiers. And I'm sorry for the siren of. Yeah, that siren is coming from an ambulance of this country. So that siren says an ambulance is passing, which is what that announce said. And anyway, I'm sorry for the sound of siren. Anyway, so coming back to the original topic of this episode. So I was talking about the killed or the massacred Ukrainian civilians, and why is there? So if I were a Russian soldier, I would have killed. I would kill those Ukrainian civilians. So that is because Ukrainian civilians have taken some trainings for using weapons, which is why, so even though some Ukrainian civilians are under confinement, or if even then some Ukrainian people or some Ukrainian civilians are captured by Russian soldiers, those Ukrainian civilians may take the weapons or artillery of Russian soldiers, and those Ukrainian civilians may fight back against or retaliate against against Russian soldiers. Which means there is such a possibility, which is why to eliminate or to protect Russian troopers themselves. So Russian soldiers have to massacre almost all the Ukrainian civilians or Ukrainian people, including civilians and including Ukrainian soldiers. So which is why. So that anyway. So which is what I thought. Which is why. So there's a commotion. There's a commotion. There's a there's a hot topic about that massacre happened in Ukrainian territory, accompanying the war between Ukraine and Russia. But actually, I thought that was a natural event, that was a natural occurrence for Russian soldiers protecting themselves. Anyway, so com- coming really back to the original topic of this episode, so birth rate, talking about the birth rate. So when it comes to thinking about the birth rate, what I'd like you to imagine that why you have studied, for example, any subject is fine. For example, so if you love studying English, and why you are studying English is what I'd like you to imagine. So I'm sorry for the shift of the topic from the war between Ukraine and Russia to studying English. Anyway, so please imagine, for example, why you are studying English language. That is because you'd like to get a bright future. And why you can get such a bright future is because life is secure. So before the provocation or before the start of the war between Ukraine and Russia, the peace was taken for granted. The world peace has been taken for granted. Apart from, so except for some areas, or except for some countries, and those exceptional countries, or the countries of exceptions are, for example, Middle Eastern countries, and Middle Eastern countries are exceptions, for example. So anyway, let me stop talking about those Middle Eastern countries, because I have consumed a lot of time. Anyway, so birth rate, not the birth rate. After birth rate, I began to talk about studying English and including future. So why you study English language, for example? So that is because you'd like to get, or you can get a bright future. And why you think you can get such a bright future is because the life is secure. And why your life is secure? Why your lives are secure is because the world peace has been taken for granted before the provocation of the war between Ukraine and Russia. And which is why so people have studied English language, for example. And of course, if you love to study mathematics, it's fine. Please study mathematics. I love to study mathematics. I loved to study mathematics when I was a student. Anyway, so anyway, like which people have studied many things. That is for the sake of their own bright futures. So let me confirm this one. So people study to get their own bright futures, which is the presumable condition of studying. So which is why many people have studied. Of course, some people, or fairly many people hate. Fairly many people have hated studying, but actually, but still, people have studied many things, and many people have continued to study many things, which is why many people got bachelor degrees of universities, for example, nowadays, and some people have got master degrees of universities, for example. So like which, so people have gotten, people have experienced, or people have learned higher educations. So which is why so skipping many steps or many phases. So which is one of the causes of the low birth rates. So in other words, for example, so if you for example, if you marry when you are teenagers, for example, and if you get a lot of children in your, for example, in your 20s, for example, so for example, a lot of children is, for example, so if you can get, for example, 10 some children, or not 10 some children, so for example, if you can get 5 to 10 children in your 20s, for example, so there's no worry in birth rates, because if everybody, almost everybody in your country get 5 to 10 children in your country, and even in developed countries, so there's no problem of low birth rates in any country. But the situation is different. The situation is different from what I have just told you, and the reality, and which is why, what I told you, the hypothetical situation I have just told you is that many people get 5 to 10 children at when they are in their 20s, for example. So, and marriages are finished. Their marriages are accomplished when they are teenagers. Which is a hypothetical situation I have just posed, or I have just told you. So in other words, for, to solve the problem of low birth rates, so it's fine to bring such a hypothetical situation to it's fine to bring the hypothetical situation to reality, or it's fine to realize that such a hypothetical situation, so that the problem of low birth rates is going to be solved. So so but so I'm not telling you that it's fine to marry when you are teenagers, and it's fine to get 5 to 10 children at when you are in your own 20s. But actually, I'm not telling you. I'm not saying it's a good stuff. What I'm just what I want you to know in this time is that war, an era of wars may bring, an era of wars may create such a hypothetical situation, or such a situation where many people get 5 to 10 children in their 20s. So I'm not saying you should create such a situation voluntarily or spontaneously. But what I'm telling you is that such a situation may come in the future by the provocation of the war between Ukraine and Russia. And which means, so what I'm saying is that, so there can be other wars coming after the present war between Ukraine and Russia. So which is how there can be an era of many wars. So in such a world, human lives are not secure, or there can be an era of insecurity of human lives, which is why, in this case, I'd like you to remember that. So I told you that, I told you that why you study English is because the lives are secure, and you can get bright futures by studying English language. So by studying itself, and that is so. If an era of insecurity comes, so such a theory isn't established. Telling you the sad reason, or so, yeah. I told you telling you the sad reason, or it's real. The reason is really giving, or it's really dark, because so in such an insecure world, or in such an era of insecurities, so people may die. So what we have worried about before the provocation. Before the provocation of that war, or that Slavic war between Ukraine and Russia. So what people have worried about, or what people in have developed countries have worried about is the life expectancies of human beings may reach 100 years. So for now the longest life expectancies of average is around 80 years to 80 years old to 90 years old. So which means some people die from 80 years to 80 years to 90, not 19 but 90 years. So which is a presumable condition in the developed countries. But actually, so if an era of wars come, so if an era of wars come, so not comes, if an era of wars comes, so what happens to you, or what is going to happen, or what may happen to you is, for example, so you may die tomorrow. So such a thing may happen in the future, which means, so what I said minutes before is so there was a theory, or there was a theory, or there was a principle that the inverse of the theory, or the principle is that by studying English, for example, by studying anything is fine. By studying programming language is fine. So you can get bright features, which is a theory, or which is a principle we have taken for granted as a presumable condition. By studying something, we can get bright features, which is a presumable condition. Well, better said, the presumable condition is the security of this world, or is the peace of this world. But such a peaceful world might be destroyed. Such a peaceful world maybe be destroyed by the Slavic war between Ukraine and Russia. So which is why, people come into, or people can be dragged into a situation in which an era of wars has come, and people may die tomorrow. For example, people may die. You may die 1 month after, or I may die half a year after. So, and your parents may die in the next year by the wars, by some wars, and your children may die for example, in a few years, because of wars. Such a situation may happen in the future. So, which is, so please imagine such a situation. Please imagine such a destructive situation. So, in such a situation, and if you are young, would you like to study? So you may die tomorrow, or you may die 1 month after, and you may die next year. So I think people may cease to study. So that is because they may die in the near which is why it's better for them to enjoy enjoy communicating with others, or in studying is not so funny. Studying is not so funny. Some people find, of course, some people find studying really funny, and I like studying, but actually, the majority people do not like studying, which is why they play games, and they play sexual intercourse with others, and some people for now some problems there are some problems that some people have not experienced sexual intercourse with others until they reach the age of 30s. There are such people, but actually, at least maybe my country has such people, but actually, so after such an era of wars comes, such an era comes. So maybe I think people begin to behave promiscuously, and people do maybe I think people cease to study because they don't, there's no there is little sense or there is no sense in preparing for the future because they may die in the near future. So which is why. So let me come back to the track of this episode, or come back to the original title of this episode. So the title is Destruction sometimes give birth to creations, and the conclusion is, if an era of wars comes, there may be an improvement in the robust rates of some countries. So I think after people stopping studying, or after people stopping getting higher educations, they in such an era, so they may marry at they may marry when they are teenagers, or they may get a lot of children at their in their 20s. So, which can be which is a possible branch of many possible futures. Which is what I'd like you to know this time. So at last, let me tell you why I created this episode. And there is a Japanese there's a song I like, and that song is Japanese. There is a Japanese song I like, and in that song is a lyrics saying 破壊することにより想像が生まれるということも and which is a part of the lyric of that song, and so translating that Japanese song, that Japanese lyrics, that Japanese lyric, and the meaning is creations are born by destructions, which is the meaning of that Japanese part. 破壊することにより想像が生まれる is by destructions creations are born. So inspired by which I decided to create this episode. So at last let me close this episode, or let me end this episode with the introduction of that song. So that's it. And by the way, the name of the song is talking to myself, and which is the name of that song I introduced in this episode. So at last, let me introduce let me check out or confirm the title and the conclusion. The title is Destructions Sometimes Give Birth to Creations, and conclusion is if an era of wars comes, there may be an improvement in the robust rates of some countries. If an era of wars comes, or such an era comes, so there may be an improvement, or directly speaking, many people may begin to give birth to a lot of children, which is a possible future, or possible branch of many possible futures, or many possible branches of futures, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So that is because there are many destructions caused by many wars, and which is why people cease to prepare for their own bright futures, because they may lose, or people lose frequently their own futures by their deaths or by their diseases. So which is what I'd like you to know this time. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. And if you live in Russia or Ukraine, so please survive. Please survive. I cheer you up. So see you. Well, good luck.